Hello, sir.
Hi, Ian.
Nice to be back in paradise.
So good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. This is a pretty unique machine. I'll lower it, big block engines, pipes coming out the side. I got plans. I'm already ruminating.
This really isn't the project I had in mind for you. Gonna go down this way.
Wait a second. Chevrolet parking lot in the international compound?
Chevrolet.
Wow.
This will surprise you. Neither are runners.
What? It ran great when you parked it, right?
Yeah.
What kind of used car salesman
Yeah.
are you? Trying to feel out Bill and then feel out the vehicle as well. At the beginning of every project, obviously the condition of the vehicle is always the most important thing to me. Yeah, this one's pretty hammered, sir. It's,
Well, I bought these together.
Oh.
I loved this one, and that kind of went with the deal, and I thought maybe some parts were needed or something.
So this is a 54, right? I recognize
Yes.
this grill. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like it too. When I saw this, it reminded me so much of when I was a kid, raised on a chicken farm, and we had one very similar to this. I have really great memories of it.
Bill's telling me the story about this pickup truck and, you know, his childhood memories. You know, he's got some passion for this thing before we even lay a hand on it, which is great. Now, this thing has mucho character, man. Everybody loves a classic Chevy pickup. Yeah, I mean, the deal breaker for anything is it all cancered out? Is it all rotten on the inside? And it doesn't appear to be.
I've certainly shown you worse.
Yes, you have. You have a,
I actually kind of like the green.
I mean, it has a lot of appeal when it's real patina, you know? It's
Yeah.
like people fake it all the time, but if it's the real deal, original paint, you can recognize it.
Yeah. I've never had a patinaed paint job before. We always painted them, but the look is rubbing off on me, and I just want to try it. And this is the perfect vehicle to do it with.
We've done enough projects for me to understand that you're not looking for the period correct restoration.
You can do whatever you want as long as we can keep this fine green paint.
It's kind of a strange request, but if that's where your head's at, I can accomplish that for you.
Okay.
Bill's whole concept for this truck, you know, he loves the stock paint. He just wants to modernize it. It's got to be rock solid driver, and I got a couple ideas to just get it right out of the gate. If you want to reinvent the wheel and go super crazy, we can modify this chassis, but, you know, like we did with the Ranchero, you're like, never really handled well, never stopped well, we're in the same predicament with this.
Exactly.
The TCI makes a chassis specifically for these year's trucks. And it's a freeway machine. I mean, it's proven. If you want that rock solid deal, why not just do that? Well, we can focus on the more creative aspect of this.
You know, I really wasn't thinking about a complete chassis. Ian has always steered me in a way that's a little uncomfortable for a moment, but he always pulls it off, and I always love it at the end. I didn't realize they made all of that, where you could just, boom, bolt that on.
Yeah.
Sounds good? Do it.
Bill tells me, do whatever you want. And, you know, I sign on. So, okay, I got ideas. You know, let's start hashing this thing out. Looks like we got good potential with this green truck. He's also got the parts truck in addition to it. I say let's just get this thing in the shop and get to work. Once it was decided that we're gonna upgrade the entire chassis on Bill's old truck, I went straight to TCI. They've got the hot ticket. Hey man, how's it going?
Good, Ian. Nice to finally meet you, man.
Good to be here.
Welcome to our home.
You got quite a setup. I can't wait to see what you got going on.
Let's take a look around.
Cool. TCI is a parts fabrication company. In addition to suspension components, they make chassis, all kinds of subframe kits, complete frames, rolling chassis, you name it.
Ed Moss started the company in 1974. This is our 45th year in business. A lot of the guys that work here are car guys. Here's our toy shop.
That looks fast. From one car guy to the next, you know, there's no way to start off your shop tour without talking about your cars.
This is Ed Moss, our owner's personal '67 Mustang.
Or what's left of a Mustang. This represents the concept of what TCI offers. You know, it's sort of an old car, but no, it's a complete race car with license plates.
We do a lot of R&D here at this facility to where we take a product, design it, and we take it out and test it. This car's been autocross for a number of years now, road race.
Wow.
It's been 162 mile an hour going into the #1 turn at Auto Club Speedway. The way we feel about it is, if we can't break it, you can't break it.
What's going on here, man? The engine's in the wrong place.
Trying to put as much weight on the back axle as possible. It's going to be twin turbo, so the nickname for the truck is C-Twin. It's going to be a little bit on the extreme side. Roughly about 1,000 horsepower this will make.
Nice.
I kind of took charge of this build a couple years ago, and I don't think they ever assumed that it would go this far.
I love the brackets that hold the turbos. You know, everything is just nice.
I mean, we've all watched the show. We've seen some of the crazy contraptions that Ian's come up with. You think up an idea like you, and you run with it. That whole firewall I made, the more I watch this show, the more confident I get. So I'm not a sheet metal guy. You
You
know?
are now. It looks good to me. Looking inside the truck, it's like, hey, that's something I would do. With Jason's setback engine design, you're completely cutting out the floor of the vehicle. So it was a really simple solution to take this Astrovan engine cover to make a airtight seal. I'm not sure really where his mind was at during this process, but I'd say he full custom nailed it.
We invited Ian down to show him step by step how these chassis are put together. So this is where the magic happens.
This place feels like home.
Your chassis starts life here.
When they say they make everything by hand, they really mean it.
This is literally step one. This is where it all begins.
This facility is pretty impressive. It's like old school, high-end, hands-on fabrication.
Everything that we do is right here in Southern California. 45 years worth of engineering
R&D
put
and
into
the
one
whole
chassis
deal.
for you.
I'm just really impressed with incredible results you see when they're packaged and delivered. I mean, you think you order something from a catalog, it's just a robot spits it out or something. No, these are the guys actually making it.
After they yank the chassis out of the chassis fixture, then they'll come to this station where they'll do engine and tranny mounts. So every chassis that leaves here is going to have an engine and tranny mocked up into it, so that way we know that it was right before it left. The basic rails in this center section pretty much always stay the same, but everything else is custom tailored.
This is all fashioned for that high-end consumer. All the bolt holes are accounted for. I mean, you just get it and put it to work.
After they're done doing the engine and tranny, they'll move it into Fred's station, where we'll do all the brake lines.
That's impressive.
Everything's just done with a Sharpie and a hand bender. We can have 4 or 5 chassis in different stages of build processes throughout the day. But on average, we're doing about a chassis and a half a day, or about 7 per week.
Wow, that looks familiar up in the roof there.
So this is what the first prototype was built off of.
Well, if you ever want to take that thing out of the rafters, I could definitely use it.
I don't think Ed would part with that one.
Behind door number 17, and I wish my shop had this kind of inventory.
Right, just walk over the shelf, whatever you need.
Hey, grab 4 airbags. No, while you're at it, grab 16.
I think Ian was like a kid in a candy store walking through and seeing the special tools and the parts that we can manufacture.
This looks familiar.
Yeah, so
It's a
this is a
Model
little
A.
Model A, yeah. Full functioning shop, man.
You ain't kidding.
Well, here's your chassis,
Oh, wow.
ready to go home with you.
That looks a little more developed.
We had the chassis assembled and ready to go before Ian got here. A little bit of a surprise.
Adjustable coilover, 4-wheel disc brakes.
Yeah, Ride Tech coilovers front and rear.
Oh, yeah, look at that sway bar in the back and in the front.
Throw some wheels on this thing, load it in the trailer.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. You saw what we were working with on that pickup truck. This looks like a race car. You know, you see pictures in a magazine or a catalog, it doesn't do justice. Like seeing this thing from a plate of steel to this, that's heavy duty. Thanks again, man. This is exactly what the client needs to see. I'm excited to just roll it home.
I'm excited to see this truck finished.
This chassis swap is the game changer. I got a bunch of ideas I want to bounce off Bill. Just got to get this chassis back to the shop and go to work. Out with the old, in with the new. This chassis is at Bill's, and it's time to take this truck apart. My plan on disassembling this is cut everything off that we're not using. The body's free, the bumpers are free, but you see it's all still together. It's stuck. So I'm gonna try to use the persuading tool. I have a lot of tools, but on the top of the list, you know, caveman technology, it's kind of my ace. Bill wasn't really specific about what he wanted, except that he wanted it to look old. So my whole plan here is to fool everybody into thinking it's this junky old truck. But underneath, it's like a tale of two cities. The good, the bad, and the ugly. This client, you know, the last project I did with him was a hit. Did some weird stuff, used some shopping cart corrals, and he loved it. I don't know if we're going that route with this truck, but we're gonna do something interesting. My whole challenge here is to retain some of the old stuff and fit in new stuff everywhere else I can. You know, I got a couple other tricks to try to make it look like nothing else happened.
Hey, Ian.
Right on time. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I got all this stuff separated. You know, the chassis here, I think we can take this apart and put it right on right now.
I love it. I love it, love it. It's just fantastic. Well, Ian was very correct, as always. This chassis, I mean, it's perfect. The fun part is gonna be when you drive up in that thing and they go, what?
Exactly.
And they look underneath it and go, uh-oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
No, we're gonna have to hang some metal stuff under this that creaks and rattles.
Hang that muffler under
Right,
it.
just to give it some kind of a character. Let's just say the stakes are set a bit higher than the old farm truck. It looks old, but it acts new. That's the whole story. Just like you.
Yeah.
Inside, you're a 5-year-old kid, I know it. I could get used to this high-end lifestyle, you know, all of a sudden, fancy chassis, fancy tools. First a chassis, now a cordless driver.
We're moving up.
I feel like if you can get your forklift in here, we'll be able to take this whole body off. We'll get the bed separate, but we'll leave the fenders and everything attached. Then I'll take out the back window and we'll be on our way. As a driver, this thing's gonna be fitted with all new glass, all new window seals, and you know, it's my duty, it's my civic duty to shock and terrorize the client at the beginning of every project. I can use a little finesse at times also. It's the oldest trick in the book, the ATC tire shim technique. Raise her up. One thing I keep forgetting is that this is an antique vehicle and it actually had a foot starter button. Told you there's always something else. Fire at the beginning of a project, perfectly acceptable. Fire at the end of a project, no bueno.
You're burning all the insulation.
I told you, we're short-stepping this whole process. Manual said raise 3 feet and disconnect the generator wires. I'm gonna check the oil pressure. Check.
Ready to rip?
Rip it.
What is that I hear clanking?
It's like childbirth, man. There's gonna be some pain. Bill's got people. His helper, Martine, is gonna be working on this project with me, and he's coming to help me lift the bed off.
Ian, this is my friend Martine,
Howdy.
and when I need a strong guy,
Well, good.
there he is.
All right, let's take this off and stand it up. There you have it.
Perfect.
There's your comparison. Wheel to wheel. It's almost an identical match, but look, it's all boxed. You see how strong these cross members are? There's a clear difference between what you had and what you got. Putting these two chassis side by side, you can really tell the difference. You know, the old school leaf spring suspension, the straight axle on the front, you know, it's purely utility truck setup. And this new thing, it's all race car. Oh, right away you could see that this is gonna be the theme. We're mixing new and old. I can relate to that because I'm an old guy with a young guy's brain. I used to have hair. Groovy gravy.
The stance is just what I was hoping. I know exactly what I want to do on the tires and wheels.
I know exactly what I want to do on the top. I'm gonna chop that thing.
Chopping it.
It's like shouting fire, right? I mention the word chop and I see Bill kind of react, a little startled.
Not like a ridiculous chop, right?
You're talking to Mr. Ridiculous. What are you talking about?
Remember, I'm stiff. I can't get in and out.
Okay, these are the keywords. Subtle, and it looks like it was never changed.
That's the one.
I'm all grown up. I'm not talking about male slot back window. I know what you're looking for. It's gonna be just the right shot.
You're getting grown too.
I'm also giving you a good sales pitch. You just let me be, you're gonna come back and be amazed. It's proven, it's documented. I have a history of going a little too far on a lot of occasions, and now I'm here to prove that that doesn't always have to be the case. I've changed my middle name.
Yeah.
It's Ian Subtle Roussel. It's gonna be fine. Actions speak louder than words, right? So I can sit here talking to Bill all day, or I can just execute my plan and win his affections.
Couple inches.
You said it, not me. Looks like Bill took my request for an extended lunch break pretty seriously. He's nowhere in sight. So while I'm in my domain, let's get this chop on. Challenge here is to keep it real subtle. Like when you look at his big roll-off truck, it's mellow, his Ranchero, et cetera, et cetera. They've all been radically changed, but when you look at it, you kind of don't really know what was changed. It's got this hot rod chassis underneath. It's not an old farm truck. I just wanted to give it a little more of an aggressive appearance. I'm not really sure how it's gonna pan out. You know, sometimes I'll just go into a project, cut it all apart, and then figure out how to put it back together. But my new mode is subtle and thoughtful. That's 2 middle names. So, I'm gonna take a little extra time thinking it through. Pickup truck looks like a baseball cap. And if you look at that and you look at the truck, that's it. So, you know, if you're wearing your hat like this, it gives one kind of a look, right? Some guys flip up the bill, et cetera, but I want it to be like kind of like down, you know? Kind of like all business. So, you know, you can wear your hat any way you like, or you can chop your truck any way you like. We'll see. Why am I wearing a Puerto Rico hat? The way I was brought into this is learn the rules, master the rules, and then break the rules, throw them out the window. I'm always trying to do something that's different. I can tell you exactly the cookie cutter formula to chop the top on this truck. It's A, B, C, right? I want to do D or E or something else different. I don't know, it could be weird, or it could be like really cool. If I just follow the rules, I'm gonna get what everybody else has. Bill doesn't want that. Textbook chop, you're gonna go right through here, whatever amount, 2, 4, 12 inches, who knows what. I don't wanna make the back window smaller. Being a driver, Bill's gonna look through the rearview mirror, he can see what's going on. I'm gonna cut somewhere through here and lower this window down to the belt line. So let me just brace it up and we'll cut it, see what happens. You see it shuts darn nice. Pickup trucks from this year into the 57 or so, they all look good with that rake, you know, nose down attitude. I'm trying to bring that a little bit more into the roof line. A little traditional, a little my way. I just act like I don't know anything at the start of every day. I learn how to tie my shoes, I learn how to brush my teeth, and then I figure out how to chop a top. Chop top is not a set of rules, it's the simple lowering of the roof line. I figure you can go and draw any line you want through that thing, as long as it's a chop top. I'm subtle, 1.5 inches in the front, and a whopping 1 inch in the rear. So look at that, see? A little 1/2 inch down, it's 1/2 inch lower in the front. Now it's not that flat top baseball hat. See how the drip rails in the windows, they're just going just a little bit. That's a good call, Ian. I'm glad you did that. Thanks, Bill. That height looks good to me. I'm stopping with those dimensions. But, you know, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing this. And we got a couple issues to contend with. And there's where your problem is. Every chop, if you keep the back in line, the front is not in line. And vice versa. Right on down the line. You see when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. You got this big step. Nobody likes looking at a mismatch like this. I think I got a remedy that will remedy the remedy, bring it all together. I got a problem, I got a couple ideas for a solution, and no time like the present to try out some new ideas. You see, when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. The typical formula is you cut through the center here and extend it that much. But I don't want to do that. I want to give this pillar an angle. This is when good planning really comes into play. If I thought this through properly, it's going to come out awesome. If not, we're going to have a lot more problems. All right, so attaching the A-pillars just like they were, a straight shot down, we'll be able to use the stock glass and trim it. The back is the deeper part of the story. I really like to leave the drip rail in place on a chop. It's not the easy way out, but I feel like it offers a line in the vehicle. Sometimes the roof cap, it tends to look too big if its drip rail's removed. It's pretty aligned to me, you know what I'm saying? Well, I wasn't expecting that, but you could see it actually works. The wild card is the back wall. I got some sheet metal flapping in the breeze. Starting off the rear portion of the cab with the simple flat sheet, so I tack welded the entire perimeter of the rear window skin into place. So the glass is still flat, but the cab has just a much rounder feeling in the back. I didn't mess up the paint. I got away with something. But we're not out of the woods yet. Bill wanting to retain this old paint, I'm leaving it all in place. I'm just gonna go very gingerly around the painted areas and put in as little new metal as possible. This is the trickiest part of the whole thing, getting these little pie cuts in. As it cools, it wants to collapse. So every time I weld it, pop it back into shape. You gotta go slow, just keep giving it the massage. Got all these tacked up. It's gonna be a lot of welding, so while it's cooling down, and you get onto these door tops, and that'll seal the deal. So now you get a real good illustration of how much it's chopped and how the pillars have changed. Not radical, but definitely different. Looks like my new middle name of Subtle is really sticking. You know, this chop could lead off a whole new avenue. You know, I could just be shaving door handles for the rest of my career. So all that cutting that went on in the roof now has to transfer into the shape of these upper door frames. The challenge with this is that there is glass in there, so it's all got to line up. So those pillars have to be perfectly parallel. You know, you can't do that with a piece of glass. Probably wondering how I'm going to do that. Me too. Pie cut this pillar and the door and line them up. We got shop inspectors. That's what I get for not bringing the dogs. Now we got this guy. Some days we got cats. Now we got, what is this, a squirrel? I guess the shop is a little nuts at times, but this is taking it to a whole nother level. Hey, you with the fur. What's going on here? Can't get away from these animals, man. It was a brief visit, but a time has been well spent. A few final trims and we're in business. Now, the good thing about these open pie cuts is with that trim that goes there, I won't even have to cut that. I could just go blink, bend it, and it'll look so smooth. Same thing here, it'll hide all that work. So I'm only body working 1, 2, 3, 4 little slivers. Seeing this with the door tops in, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna weld this up, do the same to the other side, and just get a lot of the tedious welding done before Bill gets here. I can't wait to show this to Bill, and I've already got a few ideas for some custom stuff on the front. Got the chop all wrapped up, and here comes Bill.
Wow, did it again.
There's your chop top.
Another miracle.
Well, guess how much it's chopped?
1.5 inches, 2 inches?
Yes, both answers are correct.
Oh, different. Oh yeah, look at the slope.
I raked it.
Subtlety.
I like the subtle chop. You know, it's appropriate for Mr. Bill and his needs.
You gotta love it. It looks better than the factory. That's the way GM should have built it.
That's what I'm always saying, man.
Yeah.
Glad to see Bill's happy. You know, my new middle name just might be sticking. Old subtle Roussel. His wild ideas were cool, but man, that's subtle, smooth.
When you turn you loose, I never know what to expect.
Yeah, old age, you know, it gets to everybody, so.
That's a side of Ian I haven't seen. This is subtle. I love it. He did just what I'd hoped he would. It's gonna be a nice cruiser, Ian.
So this is pretty much nailed. The grill is a whole other issue. Unless you want a big smashed in nose, you know, I can repair it, but it's always gonna be different.
While you've been chopping, I've been shopping. So let me show you something.
A wizard with words. One of the things I like most about working with Bill is he's always contributing, you know, bringing something to spice up the project. Little swap meet shopping?
Something like that.
Oh, wait a second, that's no junkyard piece.
No, sir, that's a catalog buy.
Oh, a repop, okay.
Yeah.
This is a really nice piece. I didn't expect that.
I just thought the front is kind of, it just needs a little bit of something. And I think maybe Ian was like, whoa, here comes the house of chrome in here.
Let's just stick it on there and see what we're working with.
Okay.
Inside the shop, it's like a disco in there, man. Look at that.
He's pretty shy.
In addition to bringing new parts in, Bill's got a fresh new engine he's working on as well. Yeah, look at that horn, man. That's a nice horn. You got a battery? There's a spider in there too. Let's see what it does. There went that spider. I guess it's the little things that count, right? Bill's got this elaborate truck project, and I'm like, the horn works. Perfect. Sounds better every time. I'm not really saying anything to Bill, but you know, looking at the chrome on the grill and the chrome on the truck, you know, just bolting it on could create a pretty substantial mismatch. You know, I'm looking down into this grill, man, and there's me looking back at me. Yeah, that is a step in the right direction. And you say you got a chrome bumper to match.
I do.
I feel like it outshines the whole rest of the rig, you know?
It is a lot of chrome, I do agree. But I don't know.
The old grill is pretty smashed up. I'd consider it unusable. The new grill is pretty darn bright. Down in my bag of tricks, I think I might have a solution. Sometimes maybe A or B isn't the answer. Maybe it's A and B. A little less chrome, a little more of the old paint that you love. You just gotta figure out how it all goes back together. First step is to remove the top bar from the old painted grill and try to straighten it. Depending on how damaged this old grill is, will depend on how much of the new grill will be utilized. Try to bring this ridge right back out. You can see how low it is. I'm making every effort to avoid heating it up because I'm trying to keep the old paint in place. If you just keep banging something against a flat surface, it's gonna get flat. If you bang it against a curved surface, guess what's gonna happen? The name of the game here is no rules, you know, whatever it takes to get this thing back in shape. See that? It's almost there. The old top bar is looking pretty straight. It's all a matter of how it lines up with this new grill. That does something. The good news is the straightened upper grill fits with the chrome perfectly. The bad news is we're not out of the woods yet. This is exactly what it needed. It seemed like the truck cab with all its character just kind of stopped and they put like a, you know, like a mask on the front of it. On a lead sled, say a 49 or 50 Merc, a lot of times the body color will surround the chrome entirely. So I'm gonna try to detach that one and then somehow fuse the bottom lip of that grill as well. That way the old patinaed color really shows the shape of the front of the truck. This is exactly what I was hoping for, you know, a little old, little new. Just like the chassis swap, you know, the look of the thing has to be upgraded as well. Because that's what he asked for, an old green farm truck. Too much chrome's gonna just outweigh the old patina. Right on time, here comes Mr. Pickup Truck himself. Look at that repair.
Wow.
A little less chrome than you need, right?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Subtle chop, subtle grill, subtle Roussel.
I really like that it's broke up. I love that old truck.
Glad to see Mr. Bill's happy with the progress thus far. You know, once we get the bumper and the gravel pan in place, it'll have a nice finished look. Meanwhile, I got some ideas for the rear end. One thing I wanted to get rid of was the stock spare tire mount. You know, it's gonna really help with Bill's custom truck look. Well, that cab has come a long way, baby. Top is chopped, the grill is grilled. It got me thinking about this bed. Bill's talking about upgrading the rim and tire combo, big, wide, hot rod style tires. And I just don't see that working with the stock spare tire mount. I think you're just gonna call the tow truck if you get a flat tire. You don't need an old truck tire hanging on the side of the rig. Just taking this off and smoothing that out so you don't have the big dimple in the fender. This one was kind of easy to talk him into. You know, he wasn't really married to the concept. It was pretty much a, hey, I wanna do this, okay, do it. And this will be real simple too, because your parts truck will just cut a section of the fender off of that and just patch that in, smooth it out, and you're done.
I sold the parts truck. It's gone, Ian. Sorry, I didn't know you were gonna use that.
Well,
Here.
that was the plan 10 minutes ago.
What?
One day it was here, the next day it was gone. Case closed.
Guy came with money waving at me.
Okay.
So,
It just complicates things. Let me come up with plan B. Dome shapes like this are a little bit difficult to create. You could have been easy, you know?
no.
As usual, I've got some ideas. Just need a little alone time. I'll work it out. First thought process is, well, it's the wrong way. It's backwards. What if I put it rightwards? I wonder if I couldn't just put that on upside down. That ain't gonna work. Not getting out of this one that easy. I'm just gonna form one by hand. I know Bill's got a lot of stuff. I don't want to use new steel because that's so much of a contrast. This looks like that. Perfect. Making this out of a flat sheet with limited tools is a little more involved. You know, you have to stretch the metal pretty specifically, pretty controlled, with basic hand tools. I got this whole setup from Eastwood. It's a leather sandbag. It's full of sand. The idea is when you hammer on it, it gives a little bit. And then I got all these plastic hammers from Eastwood as well. And if I had a formula, I would explain it, but I don't. Let's just start hitting it. You can only either stretch or shrink metal. I only have the opportunity to stretch it. Smooth it out with the English wheel, fit, repeat. Repeat performance of the old soft shoe technique. I don't know about you, it's starting to look like a piece of a fender to me. So the benefit of using the other fender from the parts truck would have been that panel will just sit right in place. What I'm running into is the same issue as with the chop top. I created a panel and it's not an exact replica of the fender, so I'm gonna have to make a vertical slice similar to what I did on the back wall of the cab to get this to fall into place. Once I got it all welded and ground down, it's exactly what I was hoping for. That's my business, the old subtle crisis solver. That's that. Literally, first time I ever did that. As with all the welding on this, it's gonna need refinement and touch-up paint. So I got into the factory paints a little more than I was hoping, but hey, it looks good, I'm gonna own it. The virgin barn find scenario. This isn't really that, but we're trying to make it look that way. There's gonna be a bunch more little dent and ding removal that I'll work out on this bed. The cab's coming in next for some cancer repair. While I'm in such a good mood, I might as well tackle all of the rust repair on this truck in the proper fashion. Got a whole series of replacement panels, and from my experience, they always fit perfect, just like the spare tire hole shoulda. Simple cut weld repair. If you find one of these trucks that doesn't have rust in this area, buy it. I got a replacement panel for the rust around the window, just a little bit of fit and trim, and they go back in almost exactly where they were. 54 Chevy pickup, what do you think? Shop inspectors are in the house, on duty as usual. Chrome center. Oh, you like that one? Thank you. I think they've checked off everything pretty expeditiously. They're on location and they like to party. They're like, nice truck, later. The last portion of this is pretty straightforward, just a lot of weld grinding, finishing, etc. You know, the dogs are probably doing their spa thing. We're working all angles. Making a lot of progress on this truck. Ever since I chopped it, I was really curious to see how this glass windshield's gonna fit up. That's why I called in my friend Paul. He's got a company called Paul's All Pro Glass. He's been in the game for over 50 years. He's worked on a lot of really high-end, noteworthy vehicles, so he's definitely the go-to guy.
I did my first chop car in 1962. I started in a shop in Compton. We did all of Barris's work. And our favorite car is a backyard car. Some of those come out really nice.
That's the way this truck is too. It's kind of a backyard thing. It's super low tech. I mean, it's exactly what you're doing here. It's all craftsmanship. The thing about Paul's All Pro Glass is Paul means two. Paul and Paul Jr. They work together as a team.
Well, he started hanging around the shop and working with me when he was 12. Between me and my son, we usually figure out a way to make something work.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're here for this because I have known nothing about cutting curved glass.
You get a feel for cutting glass after a few years.
You saw me try my
I seen your
my
little
work
fire.
van thing, the one that I did. I broke about half of what I was doing. I bought a 4-foot by 10-foot sheet and literally just made it. I decided I was going to take on the challenge of cutting the glass, and it has proven to be quite an art form that I'm not very proficient in. I've attempted some glass cutting on my own projects on this old shop truck I was setting up. I was working with flat glass and it was really a seat-of-the-pants approach. You know, I had my own technique. I'm interested to see how the professional works. So you don't light it on fire or anything? None of that exciting stuff?
We used to do it, but we can't get alcohol anymore.
The way I chopped this truck is different from anything I've done, so I'm really curious to see how this factory parameter windshield is going to splice into my work.
We do, instead of using the good old fire method,
All right. It's not as exciting, man.
heat gun.
The main factor is that you can bend metal, you almost can't bend glass. That's what makes it look finished.
That's probably where you had your problem.
I had a lot of problems. I still like lighting it on fire better, way more dramatic.
We're gonna make the long cut here.
Here's a guy with over 50 years experience and he's got a lot of credentials. I just want to kind of peek over his shoulder and see how it's done. That was almost too easy.
Get ready to put it in.
Now is the moment of truth. You know, how does the windshield fit into this irregularly styled chop top? It's kind of weird when you're talking about installing a windshield and then you're also describing this rope thing. What it is your channel that goes into the metal flange on the truck. You know, the rope goes in here, and what it does is the rope, as you pull it out, it pulls the rubber flange over, and then that just snaps back on. It just kind of pulls itself into shape once everything's lined up.
You did a good job on cutting this and welding it all up and everything, because everything fit.
Seeing it fit like it did is a huge relief because you can measure all you want, but once you have this other piece of unforgiving material, you know, the fit up is the true tell of the fabrication.
Corners fit good on it.
Nice.
Everything fits good. The top. Now you can go cruising.
Yeah, it looks right. At least you can drive it now.
Yeah.
Good deal. I'm really looking forward to see how this truck performs. I think it's going to turn some heads. This truck is a driver, and I'd call it complete. Completely subtle. That's a good looking rig, man. Walking up on it, it's got the stance, as a hot rod truck should. The whole theme with this was a little bit old, a little bit of new, and that's harder to accomplish than just the spoken word. The chop top, the chassis swap, mixing all that up and still having it present as kind of a barn find classic truck. It was a challenge. All it needed was everything.
The steering wheel's original.
That's true.
Once Ian finished his work on it, Martine and I got busy with a lot of little things I don't really know how to express. I think it's my favorite build.
You know, that TCI chassis, that's the game changer. This thing, it's not a ranch truck.
No.
It's kind of like ranch dressing on a race car.
Yeah.
Patina really sells it as that vintage work truck Bill was looking for, but everything else is cooler. The 17-inch rims with those low-profile tires sells it. It looks fast.
The overall look of the truck is exactly what I wanted. You know, I like kind of the stock look, but with just a little bit of change. You look at the few little pieces of chrome we added, the tires, the wheels, the little chop, and you go, that's not just drug off the farm. I was very concerned when you said, I'm subtle on this chop. I went, oh my God, he's not subtle. He's everything but that.
It was an interesting choice that Bill made in letting all the work show. You know, the weld seams are simply painted over to stop it from rusting, but you know, it works. It's like it's clear as day where I cut it, right? Somebody's gonna be like, nice truck, and another guy's gonna be there like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Something doesn't make sense.
I like it. I'm sure some people are gonna say, when are you gonna paint this? That's the way it is.
See what this baby can do, man. That's what this has all been leading up to. The easiest chop top I've ever got into. You know, the TCI chassis under it makes it a real street machine. This thing is built to boogie. Oh yes, there we go. It's not your grandfather's ranch truck. This is why your neighbors put up that slow down sign, now I know.
It's impressive, isn't it?
This is impressive. It's not even a pickup truck anymore. This thing is a road machine.
Yeah.
Bill was really surprised. You know, he is old school, right? So he's been in a lot of custom rides, and he's mostly really responding to how smooth and fresh and new it feels. You know, a lot of these older trucks, you step on the brakes and it goes off the road, right?
This one is straight as a die.
This is perfect.
It was a lot of fun to see Ian and have him drive the truck the first time. Ian's not often impressed with anything. As he was driving it, the response of the steering, the brakes, all of it, he was like, whoa, this is nice.
Yeah. You gotta check this out. Driving a truck's one thing, of course, but hey, this is a bit of a showpiece, in my opinion. I wanted to see how it looks coming down the lane. Just what the doctor ordered. You know, the way the front tires fit in the fenders, when it steers, you know, the bumper height to the ground, and Bill's idea to keep the green paint was perfect. It's got the stance, it's got the drivability. For a daily driver, this truck nails it. Hey, you wanna race, Grandpa? Some kids never grow up. My biggest takeaway from this project is that you cannot go wrong customizing a '54 Chevy pickup. I'm always trying to push my limits, right? So this time was kind of like pulling back from all my limits. You know, I knew what I had, I knew what the resources were, and I had to make a couple subtle decisions. It's a maturing thing. I think this project embodies the client perfectly. It's like a little of the old, a little of the new. It's like, oh yeah, you want to try this, old guy? You want to race?
Some of us never grow up. I just love working with Ian. I don't know that he likes everything I like, but it all seems to work. And he's a genius in what he does. Another beautiful job, Ian. It's fantastic.
I like it. I can't wait to see what you have coming up next. You know, you put the kid back in the playground, something's gonna happen. So Bill in this truck, I'd say it's a match made in heaven. I feel like I've graduated from the University of Subtlety. If I had a cap, I'd throw it.